60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice a little bit of consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering we're about to put ourselves through a little bit more fun, a little bit easier to do, a little bit easier to stay consistent with. All right, so if you're ready, let's start to come on up into standing. Let's get ready to warm up. Oh, all right. The first thing we're going to do is called hip cars. We're going to move our legs through as much range of motion as possible to build some strength, build some control in our hips. Usually we do these standing, but today I think we're going to try them quadruped, meaning your hands and knees are down on the ground. All right. So if you're ready, come on down, get to your hands and knees. I built something and it left a whole bunch of schmutz all over my floor today. And I'm gonna throw that out of the way. And let's go. Hands and knees. Before we get into it, I'm gonna ask you to do some cat cows. All right. I want you to get some spine mobility, help your back loosen up because we're gonna be down here for a little bit. I want you to tuck your chin to your chest. I want you to look up and put that arch in your spine and go nice and slow. Lift that mid back up as high as you can. Tuck that chin. Look up. Ooh, you don't have to push to your maximum range of motion on that first rep or the second rep or the third rep. You can slowly build up into it. And once you're done about 5, we're going to move back into our hip cars. All right. In our hip cars, I want you to try and keep your hips more or less stable. You don't want too much movement going on like this. We don't want twerking. All right. But what we do want is to bring our knee in as high as we can towards the front of our body. From here, we're going to try and lift that leg up to the side as high as we can. You can contract this muscle here on the side of your hip in that glute. And we're going to rotate the leg so that the heel comes up. And we're going to try and bring the leg down and back so that you're lifting this leg as high as you can. That's 1. All right, we're going to keep going. Actually, we're going to do 10 of these now on this leg. Let's go. Knee, open, rotate the leg, bring it up. Oh, 1. Knee, open, rotate. 2. Knee, open, rotate. 3. Knee, open, rotate. 4. Whew. Knee, open, rotate. 5. Knee, open, rotate. 6. Knee, open, rotate. 7. Knee, open, rotate. 8. Knee, open, rotate. 9. Knee, open, rotate. 10. Whew, that is some hip cars. Oh man, usually we do these standing because we do them standing. You're probably trying out some brand new muscles right now. You're going, what the heck? That was crazy. That's how that goes. Even though they got the same name, when you rotate them in one direction, your hip muscles are going to be used differently and they're going to feel like they're awful. All right, let's continue on the other side. I'm going to face you this time, and hopefully that makes sense somehow still. All right, because it's easier to mirror, right? Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Bring your knee up towards your chest. Then lift that leg up to the side, fire hydrant looking thing if you do Pilates. Rotate the leg so that the heel is up and bring it down and back behind you. Lift, 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 lift. Knee open, ankle up, down and back. Knee open, ankle up, down and back. I think that's 2. Knee open, ankle up, down and back. That's 3. Knee open, ankle up, down and back. That's 4. Knee open, ankle. When I say down and back, this is when we're standing. I guess now it's like up and lift. Knee open, ankle up, knee open, ankle up, knee open, ankle up. I think that's like 7. Oh man, these are tired. Knee open, ankle up. That's 8. Knee open, ankle up. That's 9. Last one. Knee open, ankle up. That's 10. All right. Woo. If your body's feeling like, what the heck are these? Even though we've been doing hip cars every day for days and days and days and days, that's okay. Don't worry about it. We're using slightly different muscles to contract. We're fighting gravity in a new way. And if it feels like you're getting beat up, that's kind of normal because we're doing something new. All right? Let's continue. We're going to go in reverse now. When we go in reverse, we're basically doing the same movements, but we're going to go starting with that leg up first. Then we're going to rotate it out this way. Then we're going to rotate this way. And then we're going to bring the knee in. All right? When we did the standing version, I had you go and do a whole bunch of these things, right? Knee in, knee out, or ankle up, ankle down. You don't have to focus on it so hard. Just bring your leg in because it's going to be exhausting enough as it is. All right? Let's go. Bring that leg up behind you. Bring it in with the heel up. Rotate so the ankle is down. You got this nice horizontal line this way. And bring it in to the front. That's one. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. Two. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's three. Knee. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's four. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's five. Maybe. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's six. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's seven. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's eight. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's nine. Back. Side. Ankle. Knee. That's 10. Whew. All right. If it looks extra not smooth when I'm doing it today, that's because I decided we're going to do the quadruped hip cars on the ground literally as we started doing the hip cars. I was like, let's change it up. And so I don't practice these at all. And so my muscles are also confused. They're going, what? How are we rotating the leg? This is confusing. What are you saying? All right. Hopefully that intermittent chit chat has given you a chance to catch your breath, recover, and get ready to do this final leg. Let's go. Hands down. I'm going to face you again. All right. And we're going to lift that leg back behind us. Woo, lift high. Then we're going to open up that leg so the heel is still up, but we're pushing the leg out. We're going to rotate the leg so that the knee and the ankle are horizontal, or dogs peeing on the fire hydrant, right? And then we're going to bring the knee into the front. That's one. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's two. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's three. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's four. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's five. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's six. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's seven. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's eight. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's nine. Back. Side. Rotate. Knee, that's 10. All right. Ooh. I'm sweating hard. Let's go. That was our first warm-up exercise. We changed up the variation a little bit. We're aiming for the same goal, trying to get a whole bunch of movement through that hip socket using our leg muscles. We kind of changed the angle that we're doing it from, so we're using our muscles in a slightly different way. So if today felt really rough, that's because when you're this way and you're fighting gravity this way, it's going to be very different than when you pull your leg out that way, even though, the knee going that way relative to your hips is kind of the same. Cool? All right. Whew. Second warm-up exercise. Now we're back to normal. We're folding at the hips. We're bringing the belly button down towards the ground. We want to feel that nice stretch in our hamstrings. And I want you to do a little wiggle, do a little shake, breathe, inhale. Exhale. Oh, let your body relax. Woo. Pause for a second here. Remember, the goal is to fold at the hips. Bring your belly button down. If you're stuck a little bit higher up, you can't fold quite that deep yet. That's okay. We're working on making progress, not just copying whatever I'm doing. All right. Next, we're going to add a little bit of movement. We're going to bend one knee right here. We're going to straighten out another leg, or the only other leg you should have, right there. We're going to keep on trying to focus on bringing the belly button down. You're going to feel a nice stretch in both hamstrings. They're going to feel slightly different because one leg is bent and one leg is straight. And we're going to breathe. Feel that stretch get a little deeper. And then we're going to switch back and forth. All right? Switch. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath.
You might feel a little bit of a stretch in your calves as well while you're doing this. And there isn't an exact number that you got to do, but I do want you to focus on trying to fold nice and deep into this movement. If you want, you can widen your legs a little bit to find a different, maybe more comfortable position for your knees. And I'm going to take this opportunity while you're experimenting to tell you about the rest of the show. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. This is some of that hip mobility work. That was some hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make it a little bit more fun, a little easier to practice some consistency. All right? If you like hip mobility, if you want to do some advanced hip mobility and work on some side splits, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, depending on which platform you're on, and make sure to set an alarm, set a calendar invite, because you should come back tomorrow after you finish this show today, right? All right, now that you've done a whole bunch of these moves, I want you to refocus, pause for a second, bring the belly button down a little bit more, fold a little deeper, knee, knee. We're doing 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. All right, pop into a little squat. Come on up into standing. That is our second warm-up exercise. Shake out your legs. Do a little flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. The goal is to relax the muscles so that you can actually do stuff and not just be like, I'm stuck. All right. We're going to move on into our third stretch. It's called thoracic rotation. We're actually going to get back into the position we were just in. So, open up your legs just a little bit. Fold forward. Bend one knee. Straighten out the other leg. From here, we're going to take one arm, the arm on the bent leg side. We're going to reach across, and we're going to push off that shin bone. All right? We're going to push and go, whee! Rotate the spine, rotate the chest. All right? I want you to try your best to stick your other arm straight up into the air, if you can. If you're a little bit more angled like this, because you can't rotate that far yet, that's okay. Start wherever you're at. Try your best to aim for something like this. All right? Next, I want you to inhale. Exhale, and I want you to reach over your shoulder even further. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Again. Whew. That is half a rep. I have one finger on, but we've only done one on that side. We got to do one on this side. All right. Next, bent leg, straight leg, bent arm, straight leg. Push off that leg, open it up. Try your best to lift this hand straight up into the air. Rotate your neck, look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale and reach. Woo. That is 1 rep. We've done it on both sides. We've matched it. Now we got 5 to do in total, so we got 4 left. All right. Bent leg, bent arm, straight leg. Open it up. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Ooh, that's 2. When I say exhale, reach, I really mean it. Exhale all the air out of your lungs and reach over your shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Woo, that's 2. Keep going. Open. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That's 3. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That's 3. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That's 4. And come on, 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Woo. All right, from the top, in case you just came in the last 4 reps, we are doing some thoracic rotations, and it looks like this. We're going to fold at our waist. We're going to bend one knee. We're going to straighten out the other. We're going to take the arm from the bent leg side. We're going to reach across to that straight leg. I want you to push off that leg bone in between your ankle and your knee. Not on your knee, not on your ankle, but in the bone, on the bone in between. All right? Pushing off, opening up, rotating as best as we can. If you're over here and not super far rotated, that's okay. Just try your best. And the rest of the instructions will still apply. We're still opening. We're still trying to reach over our shoulder. All right? Reach up as high as you can. Inhale. Exhale and reach over your shoulder. Exhale, 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 exhale. That's 5. Other side. Bent leg, bent arm, straight leg. Open it up. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Ooh, that is 5. Oh, hopefully your spine is a little bit looser. You're moving a little bit better. And if your delts, these muscles in your shoulders, delts are feeling a little tired,
That's okay. We don't really need them for anything. They'll be fine in a little bit. Cool. All right. We're gonna move on into our fourth stretch. We got our fourth warm-up exercise. We're moving on into some Cossack switches. They look a little bit like this. We're gonna pop into a little bit of a squat on one leg. We're gonna try and come down towards the ground as much as we can. If you're new to the show, you might get stuck right here. That's perfectly okay. If you've been here for a while, you've been doing these, maybe you're just flexible because you've been training something similar, you might be able to come real low down like this. All right. One leg is basically doing a side split, the other leg is doing a deep squat. From here, no matter where you're at, our next step is to move that away. Yours might look like this. Boom. Ta-da! If you're a little bit lower, or if you're super low, you might want to put your hands down, give yourself a little bit of support, walk your weight, walk your butt over to the other side, and sink into it. Exhale. Whew. Once you've gotten to the other side, we're going to come back. Whee! And that is 1 rep. We're going to do 10 of these in total. So take your time and continue. Hands down if you need it. Come on across. Boom. That's 2. I want you to note that I want your body to slide directly to the left and then directly to the right. All right, it's not a whole bunch of back and forth wiggling and shaking and going all over the place. Cool? I think that's 3. If you're ready for something a little bit more intense, feel free to skip using your hands for support. You can keep going without it. If you're not ready for that, don't worry. You can keep doing whatever you're doing. All right? I think that's 6. If you want more, sit up a little straighter. Stick your arms out in front of you and continue. It's going to get your low back firing, help you stand up upright, and it's not going to be very easy. I think this is 7. At this point, we've done a whole bunch of different types of Cossack switches, slight different variations. If your knees are telling you it's time for you to stop, let's make them a little easier. All right? I want you to try and come up a little bit. Coming up is relevant to you. Wherever you were, come up from that. All right? And then slide on across, and then come on down, sink into the floor, exhale. Then come back up again, come on across, and sink on down. That's 8. Up, across, down, up, across, down. And finally, if you want, you can stick with these gentler movements, or we can do some squats. Just 1 on each side, so I guess 2, sort of. And I want you to power through off that squatting leg, which go, that is our final squat, the only squat on this leg. Slowly come on down on this side. Take a second, chill, sink into it if you can, and that is how we're wrapping up our warm up. That was 10 Cossack switches, 10 Cossack slidey things, and a couple, or I guess 1 Cossack squat to wrap it up. Hopefully, you're feeling sweaty. Hopefully, your joints are feeling like everything was getting used, working hard together to keep it balanced, and we're going to move on into our stretches. All right. If you don't know, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering we keep on putting ourselves through a little bit more fun, a little bit easier to do, and a little easier to stay consistent with. So if you like hip mobility, you want to work on advanced hip mobility, you want to build into some side splits, you want a little help practicing consistency, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep coming back. I see a big comment right here, so I'm going to just take a quick read before we get into the stretches. The luckiest says, when I do this, I feel severe pain at tendon near to groin in one side only. Why? When I do this, what did we just do? Oh, we did Cossack switches. You should not be able to feel your tendons because there shouldn't really be that much sensory organ in the tendon area. So if you were feeling your tendons, something crazy is absolutely happening. But if you're able to do the movement, it's probably not your tendons themselves that are hurting. It's probably a lot of strain in the muscle, I would guess. You're only feeling it on one side. You might just have very tight muscles that aren't ready for the exercise just yet. If you go ahead and come up a little higher, and instead of going as deep as you can, because you might have the extra flexibility available in your ankles and your hip to be able to do it, but might not have the strength to handle going across, you might find that it is a little bit easier to do. Let me know if that helps. Typically, if you've never done anything like this before and you're trying it for the first time, you might not necessarily be strong enough to hold the position. There's a lot of people who are very flexible but not strong in some of these crazy positions. Dancers, people with a background in being ultra flexible or hypermobile tend to have that situation where they're able to get into crazier positions but don't have the muscle to control that crazier position. And that could be something that you're troubling with. Uh, the luckiest says, yeah, this workout. Um, I would guess that's probably from. Have you been here since the beginning of the warm up? Could be a bunch of things. Maybe it was a little bit too intense for you for the amount of warm up that you just did, and your body's letting you know. But let's see. Is there anything else that we really need the groin for? There's probably 2 or 3 more stretches in our show that's going to require the groin muscles to be relatively loose. When I say groin, I mean inner thighs, but the inner thighs kind of go all the way up, right? Uh, so as we go, experiment. If anything feels crazy, if it feels uncomfortable, it's probably better for you to just not do them. If over the next couple of stretches you feel like, oh, these aren't so bad, I can absolutely do them without feeling like that intense pain you were talking about in your insertion point in the groin, then feel free to keep going. All right, we're going to jump into our stretches. The first stretch that we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. What I want you to do is go grab a little bit of padding for your knee. All right, and I want it to be relatively simple. You don't need anything fancy. I got gym floor stuff, but if you have a stuffed animal that your dog has ripped apart, a toy of some sort, stick the stuffing back in, put it on your knee. You should be okay to continue. If you have some dirty laundry, some old towels, you can roll them up, stick them under your knee, and we're good. Old flip flops, old shoes, couch cushions, decorative pillows, any number of soft cushiony things that give you a little bit of padding, a little bit of support for your knee will get us started. So, when you've grabbed your knee support, what I want you to do is knee up nice and straight and tall. All right. Flex your glutes, flex your abs, stand up nice and tall, and we're ready to begin getting into our stretch. I want you to extend your other leg directly in front of you. All right. And I want you to prepare to fold forward. We're going to bring the belly button down to the thigh. Ready? Inhale. Exhale, belly button down the thigh. As soon as it gets stuck, don't worry about it and just breathe. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Let your body flop over that leg. Pause here for a second, and let's do it again. Inhale, relax. That's 2. Let's go for number 3. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Whew. Once you've hung out here for a second, we're going to add a little bit of movement. All right, we're going to try and practice the skill of folding forward. What I want you to do is bring your knee up so that it's about 90 degrees in this front leg. If you're a little bit more, a little bit less, that's fine. And we're going to fold our chest down to that thigh. All right, so that your chest is touching the thigh, your abs are touching the thigh, your belly button-ish area is touching the thigh. All right, from here, we're going to put our hands down. We're going to slowly straighten out our leg. We're going to feel a nice stretch in our hamstrings. I want you to keep your chest, your upper body low towards that leg. Cool? When you're feeling that hamstring stretch, great. Let's do 4 more. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. If you find that you are very comfortable doing this and you can fold a little bit deeper, then you can do a couple of things. You can try and push your leg a little further out. You can bend your knee less. You can fold a little bit deeper. All right. Straighten it out. Knee up. Chest down. Straighten it out. I think that's 3. Knee. Chest. Straighten. That's 4. We're going to do 1 more. Knee. Chest. Straighten. That's 5. All right. From here, we're going to get a little bit deeper into our stretch. What I want you to do is inhale, exhale, fold. We're going to take a huge breath in into our lungs on the inhale. Then we're going to slowly exhale and fold at the same time. All right. So face the floor. Bring your belly button down towards the ground. Big breath in. Inhale. Slowly exhale and fold at the same time. When you feel that hamstring stretch really building, we're going to inhale and relax. Inhale. Relax. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale, relax.
Sink a little deeper into the stretch, into the floor. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Woo. That's 3. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 1. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 2. If it's not obvious yet, we're doing 5 more of these. Straighten it out. 3. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 4. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 5. All right. We're ready to fold a little bit deeper. Inhale, exhale, fold. We only do this twice, all right? So we're almost done with this leg. Inhale, exhale, fold. Let's go. Big breath in. Inhale. Slowly exhale and fold, 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 fold. Bring your belly button down when you fold, fold. Remember, yours does not have to look like mine. We are trying to get you to fold. I'm not saying how to bring your chest down to the floor, your face into the ground, or anything like that. I'm saying we're just trying to fold forward. We're trying to bring the belly button down towards the ground. All right? Now that you're here, inhale, relax. Exhale. Whew. Sink a little deeper into the ground. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Whew. Third time, inhale. Exhale, relax. When I say exhale, relax, I really mean it. If you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure in your neck, in your upper back, in your mid back, you're working too hard, let those muscles chill. If your back is rounding because you're relaxed, great. If your back is rounding because you're desperately trying to smash your face into your knee, you're working too hard. Relax. All right. Knee up, chest down, straighten out. Last round. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Woo. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 2. Yours does not have to be explosive. You do not have to move fast. All right. The goal is to slowly work on folding forward. The goal is to realize how much more forward you're folding each time you're doing these and feeling that stretch in your hamstring on that 5th. That is 5 times. We're going to hang out here for 30 seconds and that's it. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. That is our stretch. On that last 30 seconds where we hang out, if you're regular, if you've been doing this for a while, I really want you to isometrically contract the hamstrings. I want you to pull your leg into the ground. You're smashing your heel into the floor. If you're new to the show, don't worry about all those details. Just relax into the stretch for now. All right? We're going to switch over to the leg. What I want you to do next is come back into a kneeling position. Flex those glutes, flex your abs, stand up nice and straight and tall. Extend your leg in front of you. All right? Once you're here, we're going to fold forward, bring the belly button down to the thigh. Let's go. Whee! Ugh. As soon as you get stuck, you're like, nope, can't fold any further. Just inhale and relax. Breath in. Exhale, relax. Whew. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Remember, if your back is rounded because you're relaxed, great. If your back is rounded because you're trying to smash your face into your knee and you're working really hard and there's a lot of tension, it hurts, that is too much. Relax. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Whew. That's 3. We're going to add the movement in, all right? Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. If you weren't here for the first leg, we'll bring the knee up. You can start by getting to that 90-degree angle first. We're folding the chest down to that leg so that the belly button, the chest, the torso, everything is trying to touch that leg. If you can't reach, just try your best. And we're going to slowly straighten that leg out. All right? We want to feel that deep stretch in the hamstrings. We want to feel that really deep forward fold. And, straighten it out. Knee up. Chest down. Straighten it out. I think that's 5 already, but let's do one more for good measure. Chest down. Straighten it out. That's 5. Once you've done those 5, we're going to fold a little bit deeper with the inhale, exhale, fold. All right, we're going to take a big breath into our lungs. We're going to slowly exhale a whole bunch of air. And while we slowly exhale, we're going to focus on bringing the belly button down to the thigh or down to the ground, whatever you want to imagine. All right, let's go. Big breath in, inhale. Slowly exhale and fold. Exhale, 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 fold, 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 fold. Woo! When your hamstring's feeling crazy, inhale, relax. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Third time, inhale. Exhale, relax. That's third time. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Let's go. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. When you straighten it out, take a second. Sometimes I say the whole set of commands really fast, but take your time. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings and keep going. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 4. Knee up, chest down, straighten out. That's 5. We're folding again one last time. Let's do it. Big breath in, exhale, and fold. Inhale, exhale, and fold, 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 fold that belly button down. Woo! Inhale, relax. Let your body flop over that leg. Inhale, relax again. Let your body flop over that leg 2 times. We've done 3 times. Third time we're going right now. Inhale. Relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Knee up, chest down. Straighten it out. That's 1. Knee, chest, straighten. If you want, you can try to fall a little bit deeper than that thigh and see if that works for you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, you got no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Focus on the knee and the chest. Knee, chest down, straighten it out. That's 4. Knee, chest down, straighten it out. That's 5. We're hanging out here for 30 seconds. If you're a regular, for about 10 seconds of the 30 seconds, I want you to contract your heel. I want you to push it down into the ground. Your hamstrings are going to feel extra, extra, extra tense. And for everybody else, just chill and relax. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. If you're a regular, prepare to start at 20 until 10, 21, 20, begin 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. If you're contracting, I want you to smash that heel into the ground without actually moving. Flex those muscles, get real tense. That's it. 10, 9, relax. Everybody relax. 8, 7, 6, 5. See if you can sink a little deeper into the stretch. 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our stretch. That is our hamstring stretch. All right. If you're wondering what that thing I'm starting to add into our hamstring stretches, it's called an isometric contraction. Isometrics are basically when your muscles are flexing really hard, but you're not actually really moving at all, right? You can, flex your biceps a little without actually doing a bicep curl. It's the same idea when you're doing it with your hamstrings. In fact, it's basically the same muscle, just in a different part of your body almost, right? All right. We're going to move on into our second stretch. It's called the butterfly stretch. And I want you to scoot your butt to a wall so that your low back, your butt, your shoulders, your head are all up against the wall. All right? We're going to then take our feet, we're going to bring them together, we're going to pull them in towards our groin. If you're brand new to the show, you don't have that much mobility, your knees might look like this a little bit. If this feels impossible for you, you might want to elevate your butt and sit a little bit higher. All right. And you might be able to get into a position that looks more like this. All right. If this is comfortable for you, you might be able to find a stool that's somewhere in the middle. The higher up your butt, the easier it will be to get into this sort of shape. But if you've been here for a while, you're able to sit down on the ground. You're able to get into something that looks something like this. We're ready to continue. We're going to get a little deeper. The goal of the butterfly stretch is to stretch out your groin muscles. So earlier, somebody was talking about having a little bit of discomfort in the insertion point in the inner thigh muscles. So test these out nice and slow and gentle. If it feels crazy, skip it, or maybe be very, very gentle and don't apply a bunch of pressure. Up to you. All right. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to contract our glutes. We're going to contract our outer thigh muscles. We're going to use our own strength to pull our knees down into the ground. All right. Go ahead. Start it. Flex those glutes. Flex those outer thighs. If you're new to the show and you're like, what are you talking about? How do I do that? Just focus on 2 things. 1, you're feeling your stretch get more intense here in the inner thighs. 2, you're seeing
your knees go down towards the ground a little bit. If you're doing both those things, you're doing great. All right. Third, we're going to take our hands, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure. All right. If you're feeling a sharp pain, stop. If you're feeling just general discomfort because we're stretching, that's fine. Apply a little bit of pressure, push your knees straight down into the ground. Breathe, inhale. Exhale, relax. And push your legs down a little bit deeper when you do exhale and relax. All right, we're going to hold for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Everybody inhale. Slowly exhale. 11, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let your hands go. If you pushed your legs down quite a bit, that 30-second, 45-second-ish period, your wrists are going to be a little bit tired. Give them a little shake, give them a little wiggle, let them relax a little bit. All right. If you start shaking them really hard, your wrists are pretty sensitive, so if it feels okay, go ahead. But if it feels a little bit crazy, feel free to be a little bit more gentle. All right. Next, we're gonna shake out our legs. This is called butterfly stretch, and I presume is because your legs look like they're butterflies when you sort of flap them around like this. So flap them around like this and make use of our butterfly position. We're trying to wake up our legs because they just got stretched out. They got all funky, and now we're trying to make them work because we got another stretch coming up. Stretch number 3. All right, we're going to do some standing pancake for the most of us. If you have bad balance, if you need a little bit of support, then you should do a seated pancake. I'm going to demonstrate that right now real quick, and then we'll get into some standing pancake. All right. If you need a little bit of help with balance, it's going to be much safer for you to sit on something, preferably against the wall so it can't slide out from underneath you. And in this seated pancake, we're going to open up our legs a little bit. It doesn't have to be crazy. If you can only get to here, that's fine. If you can go a little bit deeper, fine. If you can go super wide, amazing. All right. Next, we're going to fold our belly buttons down towards the ground. This is going to apply for the seated pancake. All right. So if you think, oh, I'm doing this seated, pay attention. It still counts. We're going to fold forward. And we're going to try and bring our belly buttons down towards the ground. If you stick your arms up so that your biceps are by your ears, is going to make gravity feel even crazier, and our goal is to bring our upper body down in between our legs. All right. The main reason why we're using the seated pancake variation is because if you don't have great balance, being upside down is not so good for you. You don't have to be in a position where your muscles are working to keep you balanced. Right. The chair is doing the work for you. Next, if you are a regular situation and you have okay balance, then we're ready to continue with the standing pancake. The reason why we do the standing pancake is because for most of us, we need as much help from gravity as we can get. I want you to open up your legs decently wide, nothing crazy, and I want you to fold at the hips, bring your belly button down towards the ground. If you're about somewhere like this, like a little bit more than 90 degrees, don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine, totally normal. I want you to stick your arms out like this so that your biceps are by your ears. I want you to breathe, inhale. Exhale and try to relax. Let your body fold forward, let gravity pull you into the ground. This is how we set up our pancake stretch. When we're doing the seated version, we're basically just our butt is a little bit further back, and we're basically doing the same thing. All right, depending on how tall your seat is. Next, if you want, you can open up your legs a little bit wider. That's up to you. Experiment with what you feel like is comfortable. The goal is to fold forward first. Experiment with opening up your legs when you want to. All right. From here, we're going to bring the belly button down towards the ground. If you can, I want you to contract your muscles here in the front of the hip, in your core, in your abs to try and compress your body down towards the ground with some help from gravity. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't have to worry about it today. Just let gravity pull you down towards the ground. All right. We're ready to begin. Open up those legs, fold forward, extend your arms if you want, stick your butt back a little bit if you feel like your face is too close to the floor, and we're ready to go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If you're new to the show, your version might look a little bit more like this. 23, 22, 21, or maybe like this. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16,
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our pancake. Put your hands down on the floor. Give yourself a little support. Wiggle your toes and heels in towards the center of your body. Bring your legs in and slowly walk your hands up your thigh. Come back up into standing. That is our third stretch. That is our pancake. Oh, if that felt intense, don't worry. We only had to do that once. We're going to move on into our fourth stretch. We have the option between the figure four stretch or the pigeon stretch. If you know what those are and you want to jump into one in particular, go ahead and jump into that. If you're regular, feel free to jump in whichever you prefer. If you are new to the show, you don't know what any of those are, I'm going to walk us through. I'm pretty sure the figure four. Did we do? I feel like we did figure four last night. I think we're doing pigeon. Well, I'm walking through the pigeon today. I do one or the other, and I can't remember which one I did yesterday. So we're gonna do some pigeon. All right. What I want you to do is take one leg, and I want you to follow along for a second. I want you to cross it over to the other side. If you don't have great balance, you don't actually have to do this part. So if you have decent balance, continue. From here, we're going to bring the ankle up towards our belly button. We're going to bring the belly button down towards our ankle. And when you're working on this, the goal is to fold forward so that you're feeling the stretch right here in the side of this hip. This is a glute muscle. All right. Probably also going to feel a little bit of something here where you're actually doing that folding. And you might feel a little bit of something here in the hamstrings while you're going. All right. Let's come on down and replicate that position on the ground. Oh, nice. Remember, this leg is coming across. We're bringing our belly button down to the leg up to the belly button. But when we are laying down on the ground, we can just lean forward and the leg can't go anywhere. You just have to bring your chest down to your leg. All right. What I want you to do right now is take this middle line right here, down your eyes, down to your belly button. And I want you to find another point right here on your leg, the midpoint between your knee and your ankle, somewhere like right here. Just so happens that I'm lined up pretty good right here. And I'm going to fold the straight line down your body onto that midpoint in your leg. That's it. That is the pigeon stretch. We got a couple of variations to make this easier or harder for other parts of your body while you do this. All right. Right now, this leg right here has been just hanging out, going off to the side. If that's comfortable for you, feel free to do that. You can get all the benefits of the pigeon, at least for this glute, with this leg here. If you want, if you don't find that comfortable, you get stuck, you can bend the leg, bring it off to the side next to you. If you can get into the stretch, everything's feeling good, perfect. There's another variation to the pigeon that you might be more familiar with. You might have seen before. It looks a little bit like this. We're going to extend this leg back behind us. All right. This is an awesome stretch for your hip flexors, but if you're new to the show, it's going to put a whole bunch of pressure on this knee and hip. If it's uncomfortable for you and is getting in the way, there are a couple of things you can do to make it a little easier on your body. One of them is elevating your front leg. All right. Unless you are insanely flexible, when you elevate your front leg, your hips are going to come up. And if your hips come up, your back leg is going to have way more room behind you to get underneath you. So you don't put as much pressure on the hip. You don't put as much pressure on the knee. In fact, your knee might not be on the ground at all. All right. And you can still do that pigeon, the forward part, the folding part, just fine. So if you want to work on that back leg at the same time, feel free to elevate your front leg. It doesn't have to be a fancy stool. You can use a coffee table, an ottoman, couch, bed, whatever you want. Cool. All right. Now that you know way too much about the about the pigeon, let's get ready to go. We're crossing the leg in front. We're finding that middle line. We're folding down to the midpoint. We're extending the leg back behind us if we want to. That's optional. And we're keeping the hips low to the ground, as low as we can go. Then we're folding forward. All right. Let's go. Fold. Exhale. Whew. Sink into the ground, and I want you to take a couple breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Relax. Sink into the floor. Melt into the floor. Belly button down. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our pigeon stretch on one leg. Let's switch over to the other side. Again, we're crossing that leg across the body. We're trying to find that midpoint on the leg and that middle line down the front of your body. We're keeping the hips low. We're trying to fold our body over that midpoint. And I want you to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little deeper into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little into the stretch. And 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If you've been doing this for a while and you're feeling quite comfortable in this position, I want you to try to straighten out your back a little bit. All right? 21, 20, 19. With your back straight, gravity is going to feel a little bit more intense and is going to help pull you down a little deeper into the stretch. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Feel free to relax at any time. You don't have to hold that the whole time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that is our pigeon stretch. We've done 4 of our 5 stretches now. And it's time for us to get into the 5th and final stretch. We're doing some side splits. If you've never done side splits before, do not worry. We're going to break it down to lots of little pieces. We're going to show you lots of tools to help make it easier, to help you feel supported, and it'll be fine. If it feels a little bit too intense at any time, you can also just stop and chill out a little bit. All right? Oh, what else do we need to know? If you've never been here before, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to have some fun, and to make the consistency part a little bit easier. All right. If you like hip mobility, if you like side splits, if you like the idea of working on consistency, some combination of those 3 things, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and I'll see you again real soon after you finish this show, because we're on every single day. Cool. All right. Let's go. Before we jump into actually doing the side splits, I want you to get a little bit of support for your hands. All right. Here is a big old folding stool. I got no idea how tall it is, but it's like probably 17, 18 inches or something. And what matters is that it is sturdy enough and light enough for you to move around, but also to support your body weight. Cool? If you can make sure it won't collapse underneath you under your weight, we're ready to continue. The purpose of this stool is to help me do this. Have the legs wide behind me while my hands, while some of my body weight is being supported by the stool. All right? So, what are some other things you can use? If you don't have a folding stool, if you have a kitchen chair, something nice and sturdy, wood perhaps, all the bolts are nicely secured and stuff, you can use that. If you feel like you're a little too high off the ground because the chair is a little bit taller, you can always stick your elbows down on it instead, and that'll help bring you a little closer to the floor. All right? If you have a light coffee table, something that's relatively sturdy but kind of like bulky and in the way, that will be okay to get you started. I recommend finding something that's a little easier to move. So when you're tired, when you're in that stretch position for a while, you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. You can just push it out of the way. You can flop to the floor and go, I'm done. Okay. So if you have something sturdy and lightweight, amazing. If you have just something sturdy, that's okay too. All right. If you got some yoga blocks, you got some other tools, feel free to experiment with those real fast and see if they work for you. This is the stool I usually use, and these are some yoga blocks that will also work. Do I like the yoga blocks as much? No, but they will also work. Cool? All right. Hopefully, with all that talking, you have grabbed something to use. What I want you to do is bring that sort of close to the wall, and then bring your butt close to a wall. The wall from now on is going to be your best friend. It's going to support you. It's going to keep you grounded. It's going to keep you from tipping over. It's going to keep you from falling. And you're going to be best friends with this wall. All right? So I want you to lean on the wall right away. Put your butt up against the wall. Then from here, I want you to open up your legs just a little bit. Nothing crazy. And I want you to prepare to fold. Bring your belly button down towards the ground, towards your hand support. All right? We're going to fold. Whee! Put your hands on your hand support. Cool. Right now, our butt is resting against the wall, our legs are wide-ish, and our hands are on our hand support. We're going to get our legs a little bit wider. We're going to bring our hand support a little closer to our groin, a little closer to the wall, and we're going to sit up a little bit more upright, let our butt rest against the wall a little bit more. All right? You don't have to go super crazy deep, but we do want to find a nice comfortable position for you to rotate your legs. All right? When I say rotate your legs, I mean I want you to do this. Boom. Before, your knees are kind of pointing forward, right? What I want you to do is rotate the legs so that the inner thighs are pointing forward. Your knees are kind of pointing to the side or up, and your toes are pointing up, right? So heels down, toes up, knees up. Inner thigh is pointing forward. We gotta do this on both sides. Boom. Heels down, toes up, knees up, inner thighs pointing forward. You should be doing this with your hands on your hand support. I do it standing so that you can see what I'm pointing to, and I can actually point to things. So do as I say, not as I do. Boom. All right. From here, we're gonna let our legs open up a little bit wider, and we're gonna try and find a comfortable but deep position, deep for you, not deep for me, deep for you position, where you feel like you are in control, where you feel like you're okay. You could hang out here for a little bit. It's not so bad. This is intense, but not crazy. All right. The goal is to make sure you feel like you're in control. You don't feel like you're going to slip. You don't feel like you're going to fall. You don't feel like you're just a fraction of a second from toppling over and doing a barrel roll or something crazy like that. All right. The reason why I care about this is because when you feel secure, when you feel like you're in control, your muscles have a much higher likelihood of relaxing. That's all that's happening from this point onwards. We're just trying our best to relax, to let our muscles chill out so we can sink into a deeper stretch. If you feel like you're about to fall, your muscles are going to be all tensed up and they're not going to relax for you. So scoot your butt around. Make sure it's resting on the wall. Put your hands on your hand support. Scoot that around. Mess with your legs a little bit until you find something stable for you. All right? I know this one's running long. I give you a lot of detailed instructions to make sure you get it. And then in the second round and third round, we'll go much faster. All right? Big breath in, inhale. Hold. Slowly exhale. Let some air out of your lungs and see if you can sink a little deeper into your stretch. That's one. Let's do it again. We're going to breathe some more. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. I almost said exhale, hold, but I hope I didn't follow through on that D sound. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Whew. See if you can sink a little deeper into your stretch. All right. These are optional. If you want, you can try to do a tiny little wiggle. Push your heels out just a little bit further and see if you can get a little bit more depth. If you're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere at all, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Next, we're ready for side split number one. Right now, our heels are down, our toes are up, our knees are pointing up, and the top of our head should be kind of pointing up as well. That is what we want. We're holding for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, keep breathing, don't hold your breath. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Feel free to add a little wiggle if you want. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're done. This is where having it be lightweight is going to be helpful. Push your hand support out of the way, get it out of the way so that you can crawl your hands forward and slowly bring your legs in underneath you. All right? Whew. Come on out of that first side split. Congratulations, we're done with side split number one. Crawl, kneel, sit, relax, do whatever you got to do for a second to let your muscles recover a little bit. We're going to take a second, then we're going to stand up and do some shaky stuff that relax our muscles. All right, come on up into standing. Slowly shake out your legs, give it a wiggle, give it a shake, give it a little dance. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, and we're going to keep going. Shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. The goal of this is to shake out your leg, to visually see that it's not all tensed up and tight. When your ankles are flopping all over the place, chances are that implies that your muscles are relaxed enough to let your ankles to wiggle around. We're going to do that leg. Shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. If you want to just start by focusing on the ankle, it's a perfect place to start. You can shake a little back and forth, shake a little side to side,
and give it a nice flop. You don't have to lift your leg very high off the ground if you don't want to. I tend to lift a little higher so it's easier to see above the chat in case you guys are on mobile. And whew, that is a bunch of leg shaking. Take a couple of steps. Make sure your legs are working. Turn into a little dance trot, marching band looking thing, and we're ready to move on into our hips. I want you to put all your weight into one leg and put the big toe of the other leg down on the ground. All of your weight is in this one. This leg is almost carrying almost nothing. All right. I want you to open up the leg so that this knee is pointing way far that way. Then I want you to bring the knee in. Open, in, open, in, open, in, open, in. Focus on contracting the muscles in your hip, in your glutes to help bring your knee in and out. And when you feel a little bit more comfortable doing this, go a little faster. Have a fun with them. All right, let's do this side. All your weight on one leg, big toe is down, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. The goal of this is to work on some of these muscles in your hip to get you nice and smooth with this movement to help you shake out some of the tension in your legs, buy yourself a little time so that you can relax. Let's get ready to get into side split number 2. All right, we're going to take our hand support. We're going to bring it up to the wall, butt up against the wall, and let's get ready to fold. Open up the legs a little bit, nothing crazy. Fold at the hips and bring that belly button down. Whee! Put your hands down on that stool. Open up the legs a little bit and find a comfortable position where you can rotate your legs. Boom, heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. Do the same on the other side. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. Your butt is sliding along the wall. Your hands are on your hand support. Both the butt and the hands are taking some of the burden of balancing off of your legs, making the stretch a little bit easier on your legs. All right. Once you have slowly come down into a deeper stretch, it just has to be deep for you, right? It doesn't have to look like mine. Not yet. When you're down and you found a comfortable, secure spot where you're like, I got control, I'm not slipping, and you're feeling good, we're going to breathe. Inhale. Exhale, relax. So you can sink a little deeper into the stretch. All right, let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into the stretch. If you can, inhale. Exhale, relax. And do a little couple of wiggles. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can get a tiny little bit more out of your stretch, great. If you cannot, don't worry about it. We're moving on to stretch number 2. All right. And this time, I want you to lean forward a little bit so that your hips are coming forward, your chest is coming forward, and that is mainly to rotate your legs so that they're also pointing forward a little bit at like a 45-degree angle, right? Before, our toes were pointing straight up, our knees were pointing straight up, right? We're leaning forward just a little bit to get them point forward at like a 45-ish degree angle. When you shift your weight forward just a little bit, we're going to put more stress, more tension on these inner thigh muscles. That is what we want. Let's go. 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Almost done. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Move your hand support out of the way. Walk your hands forward. Bring your legs in underneath you. That is our second side split. Whew. Take a second, catch your breath, chill. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. And let's take a step forward and come back into standing. Let's shake out our legs again. All right. Remember, the goal here is just to loosen up the muscles. We're starting with the ankle because it's super easy to see when it's going flopping like crazy, like it's a overcooked noodle. You know, it's chilling. You know, it's relaxing. So shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. And let's move on to the other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. And let's move on to some hip stuff. I want you to put all your weight in the leg. Put your big toe down, bring the knee in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. If you have not been on the show very often or much, this movement is coming straight from your thigh bone where it connects into your hips. All right, we'll bring the knee in and the knee out, and the knee in and the knee out, and the knee in and the knee out. Everything else that I'm doing with my hands, that's just for funsies. All right, all your weight is this leg, big toe is down on the other. Bring the knee in and out, and 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 in and out. Whew, shake out your legs, shake out your limbs. Get loose, get wiggly, get floppy, get relaxed, so that we can crush side split number 3 that is coming up in like 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, let's go. Take your hand support, bring it up to the wall. Butt up against the wall, open up the legs just a little bit, prepare to fold. Whee! Hands on your hand support, butt on the wall, legs open a little wider. Adjust everything as you need to for some comfort, for some stability, and let's rotate the legs. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. Hands on your hand support, go a little bit wider. All right? Again, this is wide for you. Not wide for me, wide for you. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm trying my best to make sure all the explanations apply to wherever you are. And if they don't feel like they apply, let me know so I can make sure to be more conscious about it and make the instructions more relevant to everybody at the same time. All right? Now that you have slid a little deeper, I hope you've adjusted your hand support, adjusted your butt, adjusted your legs until you found a comfortable spot where you feel like you're in control. You're not slipping, you're not tipping over, you're not so tense because you're about to fall. Ah, we don't want that. All right, so once you found your spot, let's breathe. Inhale. Exhale, relax. So you can sink a little deeper into the stretch. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into the stretch. If you can, inhale. Exhale, relax. Whew. That's 3. If you want, you can try a little tiny wiggle from side to side, see if you can get just a little bit more out of your stretch. If you can't, that's totally fine. We're ready to go. Third, side split. You got the option. You can do the first one where the toes are up and the knees are up, your head is pointing up. We can do the second one where we're leaning forward a little bit. You're going to feel more of a stretch in your inner thigh muscles. I'm going to be doing a version of the second one. And once you've picked it, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. Okay, we're done. Walk your hands forward. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. Slowly bring your legs in underneath you. That is our third and final side split. Oh man, today was feeling extra brutal for me, so I'm gonna need an extra second before we get back up. When you're ready, let's step on up. Let's shake out our legs and let's do some joint checks to make sure we're all good and wrap up for today. All right, let's go. Shake out the ankles. If you need help with a little bit of balance, make sure to hold on to something. I usually would recommend that you lean against the wall because now your wall is your best friend, right? So shake out those ankles. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 and whew, you are a soggy noodle. All right. Remember, the goal is relaxation. How you do it precisely, not that important. I recommend you start with shaking out the ankle because it's easy to see and it's easy to understand when it's happening, when it's working, because you'll see your whole entire leg is just flopping all over the place. But if you want to start combining things, switch legs by the way, so that you got some of this internal, external rotation that we're working on in the hips, you want to take that into the whole thing and just start adding it into that leg while it's shaking so you get extra loose at the same time. Feel free to add it in. Oh, shake out that leg. I feel like this leg has not gotten nearly as much shaken as the other one. Give me a second to catch up and even it out. Take a couple of steps. I think I still need a little bit more. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 flop. And that sounds about right. All right, let's shake out the hips and do some joint checks and we'll wrap up. All right. All your weight on one leg. Big toe is down. Knee in, knee out, 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 knee in, knee out. I am a big supporter of making the movements fun, turning them into little dances that you have more fun doing them. And so if you want to turn this into some stanky leg, please do it, right? We can go get some graceful arms and we go bring that leg in, bring that leg in, and you can rotate that leg out and go push that leg out. I didn't do it this leg. Push that leg out and have a little bit of fun with the in and out. As long as your knees are going in and out, you're working the hips. It's all good. Cool? All right. Where we going? Joint checks. Hip circles. Your hips have been through a lot today. Give a nice little stretch when you work through the range of motion using some hip circles. Lean deep into those movements. Lean real deep into either corner, either side. Come on back around. Feel the stretch on the outside of the hip and sink on into it. Around and back. And once you've done a couple in one direction, switch over to the other side. Come back around. All right. That is starting to feel a little bit smoother. Hopefully, you're getting a little bit better. If there's a spot that is crazy for you, feel free to just hang out in that spot for a little bit until some of those muscles loosen up. And if you're ready to move on, we're going to wrap up with our final thing. We got some crazy calf raises to do. The way we do these calf raises is from a crazy looking squat position, all right? I want you to open up your legs so they're about hips width, maybe a tiny little bit wider than hips width. I don't want them to be crazy. I don't want them to be narrow, all right? Just a little bit more than hips width is probably good. Cool? We're going to drop down into a squat, but I want this squat to look a little like this. I want you to lean way far forward. And I want you to try your best to push your knees in that direction too, all going that way. When you do this, your center of gravity is going to shift forward. You're going to almost want to tip forward and fall. As long as you don't fall, try your best not to fall. But as long as you don't fall, your toes are going to be working real hard to grip the floor to keep you stable. That's what we want. We want them engaged. We want them focused, not just chilling, being bystanders. We're putting them to work. All right. From here, when your knees are pointed forward, you should feel a stretch in your Achilles tendon. You should feel a stretch in your calf, and the rest of your body is probably going, can you just finish up already, please? So let's put our hands down on the floor for a little support to do some calf raises. If you can't reach this deep, you can't fold this far forward, you can use the wall for a little support instead. All right? We're going to do some calf raises. Lift those heels up as high as you can. Slowly come on down with control. Reset. Push those knees forward. Lean forward with your upper body. Feel that calf stretch in. Come back up and down. Lean forward. Come back up and down. That's 3. Reset. Push those knees. Knee, ankles up and down. Knee forward. Ankles up. Ankles down. Knee forward. Ankles up. Ankles down. Knee forward. And do as many as you'd like. What we just did was like a crazy squatting, wall sit, calf raise super combo, right? We put our toes through a lot, trying to make sure that we don't tip over in front of us. We had the arch of our foot working real hard to keep the whole foot stable and strong. We had the crazy Achilles tendon and calf stretch, and then we did the calf raise to strengthen all those muscles. The quads, because we're leaning forward in this crazy looking squat, they were firing real hard. Our low back was firing real hard because we were leaning super far forward for a long time. And all of those movements together worked a whole bunch of different tendons, a whole bunch of different muscles. Your legs are probably still crying at you. And thankfully, we're done. If you were able to do most of that movement, 75% of it, maybe not all the pieces are super clean, that's okay. You're probably doing good enough to go back to whatever else you have to do, right? That was our joint check. We just put all of our lower body muscles to work all at the same time. And hopefully they were coordinated enough to work together. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in, practicing a little bit of consistency. I hope you had fun. I hope now that we've had a couple seconds after the calf raise thing that you've been cooling off and chilling out. All right. We ran this show a little bit longer because I changed up the first warm-up exercise just a little bit to see if we can add a little bit more variety to the show. And then I try to explain a couple of things in slightly different ways today. So hopefully if you have been here for a while and you notice that it's a little different today, then you let me know if it felt like it was more useful or less useful, and I'll take that feedback and try to make the show even better as we go. All right. If you're new to the show and you're still here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We do this live every single day, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, which means we started an hour and 10 minutes ago. If you like hip mobility, if you like side splits, which I assume you do because you're still on at the end of the show, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep coming back because we're here 7 days a week. All right. I recently released a video, actually at this point, it's been like almost a week, about some spine mobility. All right. If you're waking up and you're feeling real stiff, you're waddling around like a penguin like this in the morning or after you get out of the car, once you've driven to the grocery store, to work, running errands, whatever, and you're sort of wobbling out of the car like this, it's probably a time to add a little bit of intentional, thoughtful movement in the spine into your day. All right. Most of the exercises that I'm talking about are in a video that I just posted over on YouTube. It's about helping your back to relax and get moving again, help it wake up to unstiffen the back. And the muscles in question are usually capable of four things, right? The first two are bending backwards and bending forwards, the cat cow. And that's two. The third is bending to the side, because your spine is designed to be able to do this. And then the fourth is rotation. All right. We covered a little bit of rotation in our show during the warm-ups. So you already know that working on rotation makes your back feel good. If you're interested in trying to find a super quick, concise way to cover all the different muscles all in one go, that YouTube video is available over on YouTube. And it is the most recent video that I posted. The username is splits on the side, so it's the exact same username as on TikTok if you're watching on TikTok. And if you're on YouTube, you can just click on over and find it. All right. Now that you know about that, the rest of my content usually is about trying to make fitness a little bit more fun, making movement something you try to add into your day because it helps you feel good and helps you feel lighter, helps you move a little bit smoother and better, whether that's dancing, whether that's learning a new skill, whether that's just doing some calf raises while you're waiting for coffee to be coming out the machine or however you make coffee. All right. So if you do me the honor of hitting follow, hit subscribe, hopefully next time you're doom scrolling while you're waiting for something to happen in your life, you doom scroll right into a little bit of my content, and I can remind you to get a little bit of gentle movement so that you move and feel a little bit better. All right, now that I have told you all the things I want you to know, let's look at the chat real quick and see if there's any questions I can answer, and we'll wrap up. There are still, a handful of you online. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's see where we're at. We're going to start over on YouTube. Buddy says, hi, can you shout me out? Call me Buddy, please. I subbed. This probably came in like 55 minutes ago. But if you're still here, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it. Bruh Animation says hello. Queen R says hello and reminded Buddy that I can't see the chat because I'm way far over there and I do this on these two little tiny phones. No, they're normal size phones, but two little phones like 12 feet away, so the font is a little small for me to read when I'm back there. All right, let's take a look at TikTok. What we got? Book says see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Book. Keji says okay, let's start. Oh my God, oh no. Keji is sending some huffing and puffing. Tony says I have terrible lower back pain. Uh, okay. Tony says I have terrible lower back pain. Tony, if you're still on, tell me about this lower back pain. I'm not sure that I can actually help you with it, but uh, feel free to let me know what feels bad, and I can potentially tell you which exercises in our show that you might want to avoid. All right. What else we got? Yatarati says, nope, you're a girl. You're supposed to be more flexible. I'm not sure that that sentence made any sense, but let's keep scrolling. Kachi says, this is the hardest one for me. Thank goddesses. So just hope everyone has a good weekend. Oh, it's Friday night. Oh, I also forgot, if you're still on, we have a live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. That is 11 hours from now, 10 hours and 45 minutes from now. It's going to be more gentle. It's going to be about waking up and getting your joints moving a little bit. So it's not going to be nearly as intense as our side splits just now. And If you're looking for some stuff for your spine, for some posture, for some gentle working through your joints, making sure everything is moving nice and smooth, make sure to come back in for that. Chase says, yes, hello, 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 hello. Who's this? Oh, somebody named Cal followed the life creator. I thought Cat followed the life creator. I was like, Cat, you unsubscribed and resubscribed? That's crazy. The luckiest says, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it, coach. You're very welcome. All right. I hope that. Oh, the luckiest says it's almost 3 weeks. I used to do this workout. Oh, no. Okay, 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 okay. Hold on. Let me see. The luckiest came in earlier or asked earlier, when I do this, I feel severe pain at the tendon near the groin on one side only. And they used to do this workout, and it's been almost 3 weeks, but I don't think you're still on luckiest because there's only a handful of you still online. But yeah, I got questions. Maybe I'll DM you and find out. Catcav says I'm not strong. Catcav, that's okay. That's why we're here. All right. Some of these movements are not going to be easy. Most of these movements are not going to be easy for somebody who's tried these for the first time. And a lot of the movements that we're doing in our normal life, we don't use the right muscles to get anywhere close to having the ability to do a lot of these movements that well. And that's what makes them hard. That's why people don't do them, because they are hard, right? So that's completely normal. And if some of these movements that I'm doing looks crazy and you're like, this is impossible, there's no way I can do them, I promise you, I've been doing this live for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of days, like 500 plus days. Most of them, at least 300 days, are recorded and posted over on YouTube. So if you want to go check out what some of the ranges that I used to have look like, you can just go back to one of the first videos uploaded over to YouTube under the, I think they call it live um, videos. And you can be like, oh, look, he was much less flexible then too. All right. True Blue says, hello, everyone, or evening, everyone. Truck OK on says, I can't even hit 50% of the range. That's okay. I try to make sure my instructions apply to everybody, no matter where in your flexibility journey you're at. So as long as you're moving in the right direction, you'll be fine. All right. You're not missing out on anything. And like I said, I've been doing this for like 500 days. So it's I've been building up this flexibility for a long, 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 long time. And so some of my movements I'm getting really good at. The forward fold on my right leg, the hamstring stretch, is getting real good. My left leg is a little bit worse because I got an old left hamstring injury that loves to remind myself that I'm an idiot because now it's severely behind my right leg. But that's okay. That's normal. Everybody's got little situations like that. Cool. Travel Doxy says, "Woo, let's do this." Ooh, thank you for the excitement. Leah says, "Mark Lutz." I assume this is from the hip cars. We're on our hands and knees because those are really hard on the glutes. Catchy says, "I like these. They burn so good." Oh, amazing. Good. Cat. um, I'm glad you're having fun. Leah says, "It burns." Charlotte says, "Made it." With some Ken emojis. I guess what would they be called if they're a sticker of me? Are they Ken stickers? I guess that's probably what they are, huh? I answered my own question. All right. Cat G says good night and thank you, Ken. Cat, thank you for being here. I hope you had fun. I'll see you hopefully real soon. All right. We only got a handful of people left on, so I think that is all the comments in the chat. Oh, Belle Jones says hi on YouTube. Hello, 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 hello. All right. And with that, I think we've covered everything. So it's time to wrap up. Hit follow, hit subscribe. I hope you had fun. I hope you're cooling off. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday night. And I hope you have a lovely weekend ahead of you. If you're interested, we start tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. doing some gentle movement for the spine, for the back, and we do a little bit of strengthening to help bring your shoulders backward to strengthen up your upper back muscles so that you get a little bit more training for your posture a tiny bit. Cool. So if you want to see that, come back tomorrow. And if you don't, tomorrow night we still got more side splits if you like that. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. All right, I'm closing out.